What is up, everybody? Bleeding Blue Podcast, episode, what is it, 63, 64? We are somewhere in that range, but doesn't matter because guess what? We have playoff baseball. Maybe it's not with the Blue Jays, maybe it's not with some Toronto team. It's not what we wanted. But that doesn't matter because we still got a lot of energetic baseball being played. I mean, if you guys checked out the game yesterday with the Mets and the Braves, game one of that doubleheader, holy shit. Let's just break it down for the people so they know what went down. So, Ryan and I are in class, and we're in film students, so we're watching a movie, of course, and
Watching a movie.
watching. And in the middle, I have my laptop on, watching the Mets game, no volume. All of a sudden, I'm seeing Brandon Nimmo home run. Starling Marte hits a ball in the infield, and then, of course, the blown lead by Ed Luz Diaz, as Frank Tank calls him. Not Edwin Diaz, Ed Luz Diaz. Ha ha ha. Very funny. And then, of course, top of the ninth was it? Uh, Francisco Lindor with an absolute bomb to right center field. Awesome, just absolutely awesome, and that's what I can really say. What a moment for this team! And right now, as we speak, they are winning the game. I don't know if that's how it's going to play out. They're winning the game right now, 3-2 against the Milwaukee Brewers in Game One of the wild card. So yeah, lots of exciting things happening around baseball. As we saw game one of the series again with Detroit and Houston, Detroit ended up winning. Crazy bottom of the ninth. I don't know if you checked out that. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Jason Hayward absolutely sculled the ball right to the first baseman's glove. Crazy. Just like
Yeah.
line drive, you could hear Michael Kay was like, in a line drive. Oh, right at Dorkelson, and
hmm
still, that's fun. That's what baseball. I think out of all the sports, playoff baseball might be the best next to football. I want to say. I don't know.
No, hockey. Hockey's the best playoff sport.
No, it is. Hockey is too long. Hockey is
Oh
too
my
long.
God. Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does
Hockey's
matter.
hockey's the most competitive championship in North American sports. The Stanley Cup is the most competitive out of
I
all of the four. Out of all
why
four,
explain it, tell me why
because it's the hardest to win. It's the hardest to win.
why is it the hardest to win?
Baseball, you have 162 games to get into the playoffs. Football, I'd say is second because
No,
um,
I would say baseball is more difficult because you have 162 games and you have to be good all 162 or for the most.
well, you have a bigger margin for error in baseball.
That's true, but at the same time, you still have other teams that you have to worry about. And when it comes down to it, you have to be good all the time, and you have to be consistent for them a lot of the season because if you fall out, then it's still like any other sport. It's still easy to you can still blow the lead, and it's happened many times. We saw with the Twins this year. The Twins completely had the lead in the division, the wild or not in the division, but had a wild card spot, and then Detroit just came out of nowhere and took that. And we're seeing it right now. It's also a sport where it's so hard to get into the playoffs as well. It was way harder before. And with hockey, it's less competitive. You have teams that are not good at all get into the playoffs, and then when they do, they get absolutely fucking killed by the best team in the league. And so we see actually less competitive hockey games in the NHL because what ends up happening is most of the time it's the best team. It's like I don't want to say it's like basketball because basketball I think is the most boring in terms of playoffs because in the last few years especially because it's just the best teams that end up making it far. Like you can agree with that. Like it's
Yeah,
only the really really good teams. There's no underdog. There's never any underdog. What ends up happening is because you have insane players like LeBron and Steph Curry. And hockey, it's a little bit less, but we saw it last year. It was like Florida. Like Florida was the best team in the league, most depth, and what a surprise! They ended up winning the Stanley Cup. It was still very cool to see the Oilers come in and make it close and make it fun. But in the end, they didn't win. They still didn't win. That side of it.
No, but what I'm trying to say is the fact that it's way easier for an upset to happen in the NHL, making it more exciting for other teams. It's very rare that a team gets swept in the NHL playoffs, but I feel baseball, football, basketball, I feel it's easier to, get destroyed in games in the playoffs. I feel the NHL is definitely more competitive in that sense, or at least what I have experienced watching with our Leafs, because usually they make it pretty competitive in the playoffs, and
you're right.
And it usually goes 7 games. So that's just another reason why I think hockey's it's easily the most competitive and the hardest trophy to win. I wouldn't say all sports, because you can go, say World Cup, but that only happens every 4 years. So that's not a yearly trophy to win like the Super Bowl or the World Series, right? So you can't really compare that to the North American sports. But I just think, in my personal opinion, the NHL is far more competitive and harder to win. And just because the fact that playoff hockey is completely different from any other playoff sport. Because if you watch a playoff football game or you watch a playoff baseball game, it feels very similar to a regular season game, in my opinion. But playoff hockey is completely different from what other sports are, because they let go a lot of different penalties. They're definitely more lenient on checking and getting hit and shit like that. And players who are not known for scoring kind of rise, and that's what makes it exciting. You get to see which team is fully developed compared to others. So
yeah, but I think that's the exact same thing with baseball. There's like crazy players like Steve Pearce, who like is the MVP for the fucking Boston Red Sox, which came out of nowhere, which is so cool to see. It's like George Springer is the MVP. Cheating, I'll say that still. But other players like fucking, I don't know, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton becomes these absolute dogs in the playoffs, and that's so much fun to watch. Whereas like in basketball, there's certain players like that but it's just, again, we're not as big as fans of basketball, so we don't know necessarily who are the players that fucking show up right away. But
no, I watch basketball. I watch playoff basketball every year. It's the same narrative every year. Yeah. So
fair enough.
It's definitely the worst out of the 4.
Yeah,
there's no debate about that.
Yeah,
there's never an underdog in playoff basketball. It's always the same every year. It's always the first top three seeds are always in the final. There's never an underdog.
Fair enough.
Never happens.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk baseball then with the Blue Jays. The season is over, as we know. What a fucking way to end the season, with getting swept by the worst team in the fucking league, in the National League, the Miami Marlins. That was painful. I didn't watch any of the games. Like, it's just it perfectly describes this season as so underwhelming. Vladdy wasn't able to get his 200th hit. Not that I'm upset by that. He had an incredible season, maybe the best season of his career. No, not as good as 2021, where he hit 48 home runs, but close, very close. He was the most valuable player on this team. So, and that was a lot of fun to watch. I can say that for sure. So anyway, yeah, that's what it is. Not really too many thoughts on the Jays. They need to get better. I don't know what you do. I'm curious to see. They fired Guillermo Martinez, and they have a press conference with Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro tomorrow, which will be interesting to hear about how their outlook on this past season and what they think the team needs to do to get better for next season and going forward. But other than that, there's not much really hope. There's so many things that are flawed with this team, especially the old players on this team that you have to work around. And there's interesting things with other players that are going to get a spot, like Horwitz and Barger and Loperfido and Will Wagner and Davey Schneider. What's going to happen with them? Hopefully, they can develop and turn into better players and be useful for this team next year. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't care as much as I used to about this team anymore. It's really sad. It's hard to watch, and
Wow.
it's not as interesting. If they make some big moves and show me that they want to be competitive, because why do you want to watch a team that's uncompetitive? Why do you want to watch? You understand that? Like, why would you want to
Mhm.
do that? You know,
No, I think it definitely starts with the front office. Like that's definitely the main problem, and we've been saying that for since March, and nothing has changed since then in terms of what this team is going to do heading into the season. Kevin Gosman came out with a statement. I showed you this earlier today. It was about how the front office. He wasn't naming names, but he was basically talking about Ross Atkins and Shapiro about how they keep saying that this team has talent and they're gonna win games and we're gonna get to the playoffs even though they can't because they're not making any moves. They haven't done anything significant over the offseason to change the last 2 years where we did go to the playoffs but nothing happened from it. Not even one win since 2016. So they need to figure their shit out. I don't know who the higher ups are above Mark Shapiro or Rogers, whatever. Rogers needs to fire both of them, I think, in order for us to see some drastic change in this team because they're not going to go anywhere if they keep these two guys in the front office. So that's just my opinion, but I think you could probably agree with me on that in some way
yeah, for the
in
most
terms of
part,
change.
I don't think it doesn't look like they're going to be firing Ross Atkins. I don't think so. I don't think they'll fire Mark Shapiro. I can't see them firing because I don't think it's Mark Shapiro's fault. I think well, maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, it is. It is partially because he's part of why they ended up signing Justin Turner and you spending the amount of money that they spent. They had plans for Ohtani. They thought they were going to get Ohtani, and they did, and it didn't end up working for the Blue Jays. It's crazy how they thought that they would get him too. Like that was the only plan they had. They're like they were that confident, even though on all levels it makes so much sense for him to sign with the Dodgers, but nonetheless, it's you got to prepare for other things, and by not making big moves after the Ohtani decision, it just shows that it's their inability to be competitive and think think the right way as a manager and as a GM and as a president. But again, I'm not. I don't have their job. I don't know how to. I don't know how to be a GM. I don't know how the ways in which they have to work. But that's all I have to say about them. It's
Mhm.
they're not going to get fired. Nothing's going to happen unless they make some moves, unless they sign Juan Soto, which they won't. I really doubt it. It's like a 0.1% chance. Even that's a little generous because he's gonna be Yankee, and if he's not a Yankee, he's a Met, and if he's not a Met, he's not a J. you know. Uh, so yeah,
Mhm.
um, yeah. Anyway, let's move on to some Bills talk. You start us off, Ryan.
I thought we were predicting.
We'll do that after. We'll do that after.
Okay. Yeah. So Bills game did not go well. I think me, you, and my dad predicted this that we'd lose this game, and going into it, I thought so too. Despite the Ravens struggling the first 3 weeks, they're just the superior team, and the Bills their defense does not play well against the Ravens offense because the Ravens are obviously you could tell on Sunday very run heavy, and it was not a good way to defend that team. I honestly couldn't. I honestly care about the result because they lost and they're not unbeaten anymore. But is it 3-1 as a start with this team? I'm not mad about. I'm actually very happy that we're at 3-1 right now. I was not expecting this to be I'd not expect us to be 3-1 at the beginning of the year, realistically. But this team has definitely surprised me. Not mad about the result. Obviously, it was disappointing, but Derrick Henry is just an absolute beast. He's done this to us in the past. I don't know if you probably haven't seen the games where Derrick Henry has ran like 170, 180 yards on us consistently every game he plays against us. I think last year or the year before that was the only year that he had a bad performance against the Bills. But this year, yeah, not today, Sunday, 24 carries, 199 yards on the ground, I think he had 230 something yards from scrimmage, just unreal. No, deserved. They deserve that win. And Lamar played great too. Justice Hill, the other running back they have, played great too. Just that guy's unbelievably fast. Yeah, it was just a tough time for the Bills to get anything going on defense. They had at the beginning of the third quarter, I thought they'd get back into it. To be completely honest, I texted you saying, quick 3 and out. They got a 3 and out in like less than a minute. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is a good start. And then right away, they scored a touchdown. Bill scored a touchdown right away. Josh Allen made one of the greatest throws I've ever seen. He's running out of bounds. 3 guys are chasing him, and he just goes across his body all the way down to Shakir, like literally a 50-yard throw across his body, which is unbelievable. Josh didn't have a bad game. He just played a really good defense, and there's nothing wrong with that. Didn't make any stupid plays, which is good. Usually against, a stingy defense like that, he kind of fucks up and, he gets intercepted a couple of times, but he played smarter than I thought he would. Just a tough situation for the guys. I'm not mad about it. Next week they have another tough team against Houston, which we'll talk about our predictions after. But yeah, just a tough week. They were bound to have that type of game. So it is what it is. Ravens are the AFC. The Ravens were the best team in the AFC last year. So it's not like we're losing to the Dolphins with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. So it's it's not the worst team to lose to. So yeah,
for sure.
I could definitely be definitely be worse.
This is my prediction for the team to lose this game against the Ravens. Again, good team. Tough playing away. And now they're back down to Houston again for the next game. They're not playing at home. They've got a few away games, right?
Yeah, they got 3 straight. They got Houston and then the Jets on Monday night again. So they got a couple tough games until they have kind of like a lighter stretch leading up to the bye week. But yeah, these next 2 weeks they gotta show that they're a top team, right? Because Sunday did not prove that. I think the Ravens were just ready to play. I think that was the problem. I think the Bills were kind of on a high, and they thought they could beat a Ravens team that was not playing well in the past, and they just punched them right in the mouth. Literally the first play on offense they fucking scored an 87-yard touchdown. So I think that kind of just told the story right there off the first play. So they'll definitely be much more prepared next week. I think they'll have a much better chance to beat Houston. Has not had they're 3-1, but they have not had a blowout win. Really, it's just been like 1-score, 2-score games. They struggled against the Jaguars last week, who are 0-4, who we destroyed the week before. So they're a good team, but they've had their struggles. So hopefully the Bills can take advantage of that next week, because they're playing against our former boy Stefon Diggs. So that Bills offense needs to step up and put up big numbers against that Houston defense, because they're not that very good, that Houston defense. Especially giving up that many points to the Jaguars offense that only put up 10 points on the Bills. So this should be a easy I wouldn't say easy. No, I shouldn't say easy, but yeah, the Jaguars put up 20 points on the Texans defense. So this should be easier than the Ravens game, I think, but it's still a away game, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Who do you think's going to win
I
this?
think that's Sketch's team, man. So I don't know what we're gonna do against them. I think I think they'll get the win. I think they'll beat them. I think they can.
Yeah.
I don't see them as like a fucking like scary, Kansas City Bengals. That's what they're saying on the telecast is like the Bengals, Kansas City, and the Ravens are the tough teams that the Bills will have to face. That will be the scary.
But the Bengals are 1-3 though. That's the
know,
problem.
but they've had struggles against them in the past though. That's the
They
thing.
have. That is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, like on paper, the Texans should be the best team in the AFC in terms of their offensive firepower. Like CJ Stroud, obviously they just picked up Stephon Diggs. Joe Mixon is still questionable. I don't think he's going to be playing, which is good for us in terms of worrying about the running game. They still have Cam Akers, who's still pretty good, but Nico Collins is one of the best wide receivers in the game, without a doubt. Guy's just a massive body and can just catch a ball wherever it goes. Tank Dell hasn't been much of a factor this year, so I don't think the Bills would have to worry about him that much. But Nico Collins for sure is a big problem that the Bills are going to have to focus on. But I think the Bills can win by one score. I think that's definitely attainable. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. It's going to be pretty. It's not going to be like the Ravens game. I think the Bills will be more prepared this time. But I think the Bills can. They can lose or win this game, but I think Josh Allen will put up a nice performance against this Texans defense. It'll be like a field goal touchdown type game. I think it'll be nice and close. Yeah. I think they'll keep it close, but yeah,
understood.
Should be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you have to add?
No, I just wanted to add that Seahawks Lions game yesterday was one of the best games of the year so far. Just straight offense. Just Jared Goff had one of the best games I've ever seen. He went 18 for 18. It was the longest streak any quarterback has ever had without an incompletion in one game.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty insane. And yeah, like almost 300 yards passing. Yeah, he actually even caught a touchdown too. So probably one of the best. He'll probably win NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I think he was fantastic. He was fantastic yesterday. And just to clarify, the Chiefs are not a good team right now. Let me just be real.
Wow.
They are 4-0, and they have been bailed out by the refs every single game. And there's proof of that because at each game there's been one call. I would say the Ravens game was not that bad, but because of the toe, like just a little bit of the toe hitting the white line, and that's how they won the game.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. And I actually know the Ravens game was bad because the refs allowed the defensive coordinator to call a timeout, which is illegal in the NFL. So that was a big no-no. Week 2, week 3, and week 4 were shitty calls against the Chiefs' opponents. So they should not even be. They should be 0-4. To be realistic, they should not be 4-0. Just saying, they're not that good. But the Vikings, on the other hand, they're a problem. They are very good. And they're a scary team somehow with Sam Darnold at quarterback. I don't know how that's happening, but it's fun to see them play because I'm a big Vikings guy. I love Justin Jefferson. So go Vikings, man. They look real good.
Interesting.
They're a nice looking team right now. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the NFL this week.
All right, understood.
I like my weekly rant of the Chiefs. Even though we lose to them in the playoffs every year, I like ranting about the Chiefs. Yeah. It's always a good time.
I know you don't like them at all. not that you should. Like, there's no reason. They are the team to hate. That's something. Yeah.
If you like the Chiefs and you're not a Chiefs fan, you should not watch the NFL. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. let's move on then. Let's do. Shall we do our playoff predictions for or the wild card predictions for the
Sure.
MLB?
Let's do it.
All right, I'll go first. I'll start it off.
Okay.
I'll start it off with the Mets and the Brewers right now.
Okay.
I believe Mets will win 2-1 against the Brewers. I think they'll lose one, maybe even tonight they lose, but I think that they'll end up. They're still winning right now, but I think that either tomorrow or tonight they lose, but they end up winning the series.
Okay.
2-1 over the Brewers. Royals and Orioles. Royals 2-0 over the Orioles. Orioles fucking suck lately. They have not been good. Royals, I don't know what's like. They're winning, right? They won the game, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Take a look. I'm not 100% sure.
They're at bottom of the ninth right now.
Bottom of the ninth?
1-0.
Okay. Yeah, so. Oh, double play. Yeah, baby. Nice. Yeah, okay, so bottom of the ninth. You're right. Anyway, yeah, so I think that they go up 2-0 over the Orioles.
Right.
I would love to see the Orioles get swept. That'd be chef's kiss, honestly. And yeah, that's how I think it's gonna go. For the next series, Astros.
Yeah, Kansas City just won. So there you go.
There you go. So they're up with that. My predictions are already starting off pretty well. So Astros and Tigers. I think Astros find a way to win the next 2 games.
Really? Yeah. So yeah, we're filming this after the Tigers won game 1. So you think they're gonna win back to back, 2 in a row?
The Astros, they are a playoff team, man. They just have that. Jordan is scary. Jose Altuve is scary. Alex Bregman is scary. Kyle Tucker is scary. Yainer Diaz is scary. Jeremy Pena, incredible shortstop, won MVP in 2022 for the World Series MVP. They got good pitching. They have good enough pitching, to get them past there. Their starting pitching isn't the greatest. Relief, good. Starting, it's okay. I think Yusei Kikuchi will go on the bump tomorrow and have an absolute awesome start. He's been great for them in the last little bit. And then Padres and Braves. I think if the Braves somehow win that, I will fucking kiss you on the lips, my friend. Padres 2-0 over the Braves. That series should be pretty easy. Padres are just so much better in so many ways. So many better players, so much better pitching. They got Michael King, who's been awesome. They've got Dylan Cease, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish. They're a very good team. And then the Braves, they got Chris Sale, but Chris Sale's injured. Charlie Morton's injured. Max Fried, maybe he can somehow have a great start or something. Spencer Schwallenbach just pitched, so he's not pitching tomorrow. Or he's not pitching tonight, obviously. So it's going to be Max Fried. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll go that too. I'll go Padres 2-0 against the Braves. The Braves don't have their star players right now.
No, they don't.
They don't have Acuna. I'm pretty sure half the guys like Albies and Ozuna and Michael Harris, they're all probably injured in some way. So it just doesn't look too good for them. I'll go in reverse order now. So you did Detroit, Houston. I think Detroit goes, I think they lose game 2, but I think they'll win game 3. Kind of like how I think they'll do an upset. I do like the Astros though, man. Like they're like Vegas in the NHL. They're just a fucking workhorse in the playoffs, and they just find ways to win. Probably cheat like the Astros too, but with the salary cap. But I think the Tigers pull it off. You know, a little underdog story in the MLB this year. I'll go with them to win 2-1, and then Royals, Orioles. I think the Royals win tomorrow. I think it's 2-0. The Orioles suck in the playoffs. They did last year against the Rangers. They had so high expectations to they had the best record in the AL last year, didn't they? Yeah. And then they get swept by the Rangers. So I think that continues again this year. It would be nice to see the Royals in the playoffs. Some new teams competing.
Yeah,
So
you're
I'd
right.
like to see that.
It is good to see Detroit and the Royals in the playoffs because it's something new. We're used to the Astros and the Yankees in the playoffs, and it's good to see teams like the Mets in the playoffs. Like those sorts of teams are fun.
Mhm.
No, I know I
Yeah.
like the Mets.
And then the Mets Brewers, I'll pick the Mets. I'll pick the Mets in three. The Brewers, I think, you know what? I think the Brewers will win today. Even though I think they're losing right now. I think they'll win today, and then the Mets will go back to back and win. Uh, classic Mets style, kind of like that comeback yesterday. It'll be fun to see, Frank. I'd love to see Frank, have some success and maybe even watch him rage a little bit more as the playoffs go along. I'd love to see a Dodgers Mets NLCS. That would be fantastic
That would be pretty
to
awesome.
see. That would be great. That would be great to see. But yeah, nonetheless, I think the Mets Brewers are just a boring team. I'm not gonna lie. They're
No,
just a boring
you're
team.
not wrong. You
And
are
just
not wrong.
seeing them play the Phillies would just be a boring series. I'm sorry. They'd get blown out. The Mets Phillies, there's a rivalry there, and it would be exciting to watch that. If the Padres win, then Padres Dodgers. That's an exciting series to watch. Not fucking Brewers Phillies. That's such a boring playoff series. Yeah, I like the Mets to win. I like to see them come in clutch there in the NL wild card. It'd be nice to see. So those are my predictions. I basically gone the same thing with you, except for the Tigers.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
This
that's
is what I'm talking about, man.
good
The MLB
choices.
playoffs. It's pretty predictable.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, the
dude.
NHL
No,
is
no,
not
I would not
predictable.
say they're predictable. Who predicted the Diamondbacks and the Rangers to be in the finals last year?
Okay, well maybe I just let it happen. We'll just
Yeah,
let it happen.
because it always surprises you. It always comes out of nowhere. Like everyone. I think a lot of people predicted the Phillies, and Phillies got fucking. They got rocked by the D-backs in the NLCS. That was a big surprise. The Rangers. That was a pretty big surprise. I feel like too. What wasn't a surprise was the Jays getting swept in the wild card series. That was obvious that
Yeah,
happened. Yeah. Next up though, we got our top five.
yeah.
I'm excited.
This is gonna be a controversial one. We did underrated artists, musicians last week. Now we are doing overrated musicians this week. So let's hope we don't get too much hate in the comments this week.
No, I want the hate, bro. I want to hear your fucking.
Okay, let me
I
go
want to hear.
first. Let me set the tone here. This might be a little biased towards someone in my household, who talks trash about my music sense. So let's
God
start it
damn.
off. At honorable mention, I'm going with Billie Eilish. Just don't understand it. She wins Oscars for music that just does not sound cohesive. Sorry, no. Number five, I have this uh, band called Boy Genius, even though there's no boys in it, but they're called Boy Genius. I don't know how that works. But yeah, just trash. Number four, this is a very controversial one. Most people will not agree with me on this, but Frank Ocean. I just don't, I'm not the biggest fan. I like a couple of his songs, but not enough to be a fan. And I just think he's overrated. Simple as that.
No, fair enough.
People hype his music up too much. He only has two albums, and they see him as like a god somehow. So I don't see how that's he needs to put out more music. He needs to put out more music, and people see him as like the best R&B singer ever. So yeah, he's put on this list. Number three, Chappelle Roan. I don't know who this is. Apparently, she got
Chapel
popular over
Rome.
this. Chapel Rome, yeah. Someone in my household's a big fan of her, and yeah, I just don't understand it. Number two, Harry Styles, overrated, massively overrated. This guy with One Direction too, just horrible music. Just can't listen to it. Just horrible pop. Just played too much on the radio. No, Needs to stop. And then number one, this is pretty obvious. She's dating someone in the NFL, and her name's Taylor Swift. Not good. Way too much music putting out. Just white trash. Horrible pop music. Needs to stop making it. Easy number one.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say. Nice and easy, nice and quick. Get it over with.
Sorry,
there we go.
Did you choose a honorable mention?
Yes, I did. Billie Eilish was my honorable mention. Yes.
All right. I'll go next. My honorable mention, I got Madonna. I do not get Madonna at all. I don't think she's that talented, and I think she is maybe one of the most full of themselves artists maybe on the planet.
I agree with that. I actually agree with that take.
They think that people, I don't know, for some reason it has been engraved in people's head that she is one of the greatest artists of all time. I know a couple of her songs. I know Like a Virgin. The only reason I know Like a Virgin is because fucking Weird Al Yankovic did Like a Surgeon. And
facts.
Like, what's Like a Surgeon? What's that?
And that is an artist who's not overrated.
No.
Weird Al Yankovic.
If anything,
you should have been on my underrated list.
I know. What a genius, honestly. Like, what an innovator. That's for another
Canadian idiot. Just fantastic. Fantastic song.
Yeah, I know. Or fantastic. The fucking the Star Wars one that he did to American Pie. Awesome. Classic.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Madonna, overrated. That's Like a Virgin, I know. I know the one Vogue. I know that song, but I can't think of any other songs that she does. I'm sure if I heard them. Oh, the one from Deadpool and Wolverine, which isn't even that good song. Like it's like not something I ever listened to. Number 5, another band that's overrated and is just one of those bands that is purely marketing, like just a giant marketing scheme that's only used for toys and clothing and dolls and all this apparel. It's Kiss. Kiss is one of the most overrated bands. They are basically just a giant marketing team. They've got Detroit Rock City. That song's okay. That other song,
I Want to Rock and Roll.
Yeah,
Want to Rock and Roll at Night.
It's okay. I never listened to that. Like if I saw somebody like, what are you listening to right now? Oh, I'm listening to Kiss. Okay, that's fucking embarrassing. Like, sorry, honestly, like I don't get it, and I think that they're not that good of a band. I just don't think they're that good. I don't think they're that talented. They don't have good voices. Their lyrics are cheesy. And there's nothing special about them. Maybe they give a good show. Yeah. Number 4, Sabrina Carpenter.
Yep.
I don't think she's that talented. Again, her music is so vanilla, so boring. Like just nothing special. It's
mainstream pop, man.
It's just like girls seem to like her. I've never met a guy, but maybe that's sexist. I don't know. I just can't seem to understand what is so intriguing and interesting about Sabrina Carpenter. And she's another person that seems very full of herself as well. She's just
and she came out of nowhere too. She was obviously popular. She did like the Disney shows and shit. Like she was a part of that. She was like a Disney kid or whatever. But all of a sudden, like last year, all of a sudden she comes out of nowhere. Like where the fuck did she come from? Right? Like, hello? So I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Industry plant.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I know. And she's like a part of she's the opener for Taylor Swift, I'm pretty sure. So I've heard that and that's kind of probably how she got so famous and popular. Number 3, Bon Jovi. I just can't seem to get my head around them. They play anthems and that's about it. I don't think they're that good. I just don't.
My mom will hate you, dude. My mom will hate you.
Sorry, Mama McCabe. I just like it's not for me. It's the fact that I don't know. I think that their music, again, they have a couple good songs, but other than that, like I couldn't get myself to listen to them. Seriously, I don't consider them like maybe it's because my dad has always hated them too, and he's never been a fan, and that kind
Mm,
of gets you to not like them either. And I didn't have a problem with them for a while. I like the song "Living on a Prayer," but it's one of the most overplayed goddamn songs
fair enough.
I've ever heard. Same with like "It's My Life," "Wanted Dead or Alive," all the other "Runaway." Like,
I like Runaway. I like Runaway. That's a good song.
no, not for me.
Wow.
Number
All right.
two, U2, of course.
Wow.
U2. I'm sure they're great live. I'm sure they're great live, but again, I can't get myself to listen to too many U2 songs. I like the one where the streets have no names, but other than that, I think Bono
Joshua
is
Tree is a fantastic album. I don't know.
not for me,
I don't
man.
know, man.
Not for
All
me.
right.
I don't. I think they're people love them though, and that's why they're overrated. Is because so many people love them, and I just don't understand why. I think they have good anthems, but they're similar to Coldplay in that sense. Is like they have some great anthems, and they have some awesome songs that would be played live. But other than that, I can't find myself to listen to them too often. Um, and then at number one, you know the answer, same as you, Taylor Swift, T Swizzle, baby. Um, yeah, Taylor Swift is again the most vanilla fucking generic songs I have ever listened to. It makes me wonder what the fuck is so insane about her. Like, what could it be? What or because it's not guys like, and that's the thing. I'll just say that out there. Like, I don't know a guy that consistently listens to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I don't know a single guy. I don't know. Can you like that actually likes her music and listens
No.
to her album?
I've never seen anyone like never
And
seen a
maybe
dude.
they're afraid.
No.
And trust me, I love like all different types. Like, I love Beyonce. Like, I think Beyonce is a great artist. I think she has some great. Like, I've listened to Renaissance album. I've listened to her. I've listened to multiple of her albums. I listened to Cowboy Carter. That wasn't that good, but I listened to Renaissance, and that was a really good album with a lot of really good features on it.
You know what's really fucking good is SZA. SZA's really fucking good.
SZA is so
She's
good.
great. She's
SZA is
great.
really good. Yeah. And there's other feet. Yeah. Like, and I'm not trying to sound like a fucking sexist over here, but it's like Taylor Swift. Like, what do girls like see in her? Like, I know maybe she's an empowering woman, and that's what's so positive and uplifting about her. But her music, aside from her personality, her music specifically, as her as an artist, it's just so bad. It's so cheaply made. It is not good. Her voice is not good at all either. Like, she doesn't have a unique voice. There's nothing unique about her voice. Her songs, there's nothing interesting about them.
You know what? You know what I saw? Like I think this was a while ago, but I saw that she was listed as I think she was like the 16th or 24th best guitar player of all time. She was listed as that, like over like legendary rock guitarists. Like I think she was above. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure she was above Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Oh my
which
god.
is an absolute insult to guitar players around the world. Um, yeah, just blasphemy. And I think my hatred has boiled and boiled because of her being the forefront of the fucking NFL. And I just cannot fucking stand it. They need to fucking boot her out. Travis Kelsey, please do something about your girlfriend and just break up because you're not having a good start to the season, Travis. You need to do something about that. Maybe you'll have a better relationship with Patrick Mahomes if you break up with Taylor Swift, but that's just me.
Yeah. I don't understand what the thing is with her. She's also another artist who is very yeah, just like it just doesn't have any sort of interesting aspect to her lyrics. Like, I've listened to her songs. I've had my sister be like, "Listen to this song. Listen how incredible it is." And I've listened to it. It's like a 9-minute fucking song of nothing. It's just fucking autumn fucking music. It's vanilla extract fucking like
Chicken breasts with no salt and pepper.
what's that smell that fucking like chicks love? It's like in a candle smell. I forget what it is. I'm trying to
Pumpkin Spice.
Pumpkin Spice. That's her fucking
Yeah.
music. That's her type of music. It's pumpkin spice fucking music. That's what it is. It's a bunch of bullshit. I don't get it. I don't like it. Her songs, yeah, they're catchy. That's all I'll say about that.
Let's make this title of the podcast not even about sports. Let's
Say
just
no to
make
Taylor Swift.
Say no to, yeah, that's great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Not even sports related, just Taylor Swift.
Okay.
That'll get views.
But yeah, man. That's what I have to say. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a good list. Yeah. So I think no. Never mind. Okay, I'm good. We're good.
All right. Anything else we have to add though? That's what I was gonna say.
No. Next week, NHL starts. We get to talk about our Leafers next week. Actually, yeah, we'll do a Leaf prediction next week. We'll do some Leaf predictions next week. Maybe might have a special guest. Maybe Mr. Purdy might come back onto the podcast. Nice. He was looking to come back. And talk some more hockey. We might get him on the pod, but I hopefully we can have a special guest to talk about Leafs. It's a big time of the year. It's a good time of the year for sports. So we'll get some more guys on, and hopefully we're looking to do a Bills live stream in the future. So stay tuned for that also. Yeah. So get excited, everyone. Bills live stream is going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that.
Nice. All right. Well, the Mets aren't winning anymore. So, 4-3. It's okay. It's still the fourth inning. It's very early. I'm not too worried, but it's been a back and forth fun little game. So that they're having right here. But anyway, that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, check us out on the YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, we will be there. See you guys soon, and thanks for listening.